Hey guys, Squid here and welcome to part 4 of making this game in Unity with Playmaker. So in our last one we made some enemy formations and we got the spawner working. So in this one we are going to be getting the game to restart when the enemies hit our player, and also getting a moving background into the game. So for the enemies it's going to be easy. All we need to do is edit these two prefabs here and then they will update all of them in here as well. So we'll start with this guy here. Obviously make sure they are tagged as enemy, and then we're going to add an FSM. So we've got to double click on it to open it. Click on our fly here, Playmaker, and then we're going to add a new FSM. And we're going to name this one Player Hit. And we want two states. Okay, here we'll say wait to hit player. And here we'll for now say restart game. Okay, so we'll add a finish transition, link that to here, and then on this one we want to do a trigger 2D event, collide tag player, and we're going to send that to finished, and then on the reset game we want to restart level. And when we leave out of there, you'll see now all of them have updated. And we can just copy and paste player hit. So scroll down to it here. On the three dots here, we can copy component, go and click on our horn fly, click on the three dots here, and paste component as new. And now they've updated. So let's see what happens. Let's make sure it's working. So our bird is flying. Let's make sure we can dodge. Okay. In the middle. Okay, so that is one thing I thought may be a problem. So we're going to actually have to make the bird slightly smaller. Because essentially we want it to be so it can actually fit through the gap. So you might have to scale your bird down a little bit. But we did see that it did touch and restart. Okay, still needs to be a bit smaller. Okay, hopefully now that is enough. And there we go. Okay. So now we're okay with dodging them. Alright, and then if we fly into one, it will restart. So perfect. So that is sorted. So make sure we save. Next, our background. Okay, so we're going to go to our scenes, our background. And we've got two options. You've got kind of this one here. This one, so I should say 3, but I'm going to use this one. So it's going to look a bit small here for now, but it's going to pop it in the top corner, and I'm going to scale it to fit the camera. And we want to make sure that the camera line here lines up with our background, or our background lines up with that. On all parts, there looks okay. There, okay. And click on the camera. Okay. And I'm going to call this background. So press F2, call it background. We're going to give it a tag. So to do this, again, we just click on untagged here, add tag, and we'll choose background. And we're going to add that to our background here. Okay, and then we just need to add a box collider 2D, which is going to be a trigger, and also a rigid body 2D, gravity scale 0, and then under constraints, freeze on the Z axis. And then we're going to just add an FSM, a new FSM to it. Right click, add FSM, and this will be movement. We'll call it move, and then we're going to set velocity 2D, and we'll put that, say, -3. Okay. Next, what we want to do is move it out so it's just touching, say, here. And then over here we want to create a new cleaner. So we're going to create an empty object, and we'll make sure the Z is there, and then 0 on there. Right, 0 on here. And then we're going to add a box collider 2D, and we want to just scale that. So click on the top or bottom square, press the Alt key, ALT key, and then scale it so it's bigger than your background. And we'll call this background cleaner. And what to do is we want it to have it so it's just touching there. So it's barely touching, because as soon as our trigger from here touches here, we want it to be destroyed. Okay, and background cleaner, we need to add a tag. So on tag, add tag, I'll call this background cleaner, and we're going to add that to our background cleaner. And then what we need to do on the background is add a new FSM, and this is going to call it cleanup. And we want 2 states with a finish transition. Here we're going to say wait to touch, put BG cleaner, and here we'll destroy self. Right, so here we want a trigger 2D event, and we're going to choose the tag background cleaner send event finished, and then here destroy self. And that is our moving background almost sorted. So we can now copy this to our prefabs folder. So let's drag the background into here. And then what we want to do is actually Control C, Control D, copy that. With Control D is enough. Actually, first, delete that. Don't want that one right now. Let's get that back to be in the center. Then we can copy, so Control D, and we want that to be, so it's just touching this one here. And then we want to know the point here, because we're going to create an empty object here. And we'll call this background spawner. And we want to make sure it's in the same Y position here. And in the same X position as there. So that is the center. Okay, so we want it to be in the center of where that is, and that for some reason pasted in a weird one. There we go. And we're going to add just like an icon so we can see it. In the background spawner, we're just going to add something called spawn background. And we just literally want one state. We'll call it spawn BG. And we're going to create object. Okay, we're going to put the background spawner into spawn point and then choose our background image there. And then we will just disable this. So now we can no longer see it. Go to our background cleaner. And we're going to add an FSM. We'll call it activate spawner, and we're going to want trigger enter, activate, wait, activate. So 4 events or 4 states. Okay, I'll put this one on BG touch. Turn on BG spawn. Wait. And then here, turn off BG spawn. Okay, let's put finished on them. And we're going to link them to go around in a circle. Okay, so here we want trigger enter, or trigger to the event, collide tag, background, send event, finished. Then here we are going to activate game object. We'll put that on turn off here as well. Then we also want a next frame event. And then in wait, we just want wait. Right, so on here, make sure that activate game object is first. We're going to specify game object and put our background spawner in here. And then we're going to go to finished. Wait, we're going to say wait 0.5 seconds. Half a second should be enough time for it to spawn in for us to be able to safely move on and activate game object, specify game object, background spawner, turn it off. And then we'll put finished here. So let's test this. So let's turn off our player and turn off our spawner. We'll go to our background cleaner, okay, and hit play. And now hopefully this will all be working. So we need to, you can see there, we need to move it in a bit. But it is working. Now I think that is actually because it has a dark line on here. So as much as I don't want to, I'm going to change that. So it's going to be absolutely huge at the moment, but I'm going to scale it down. Okay, we'll scale this one down as well. First, we can match it to this one after. Okay, minimize that one for made that one invisible for now, and then we're going to scale this one down. scale you down. Again, we want it just off to touch the camera. Technically, it doesn't matter about the sides here, as long as they're. Then we'll just override it here. Let's check on our collider. So we're going to have to reset our collider. And then tick the box there again. Okay. Let's just apply that. Overrides apply all. Turn this one back on. Okay. Now, hopefully, this will now work and look better. So we'll hit play. I was kind of hoping that that one wouldn't be noticeable. 3, 2, 1, and there we go. Let's make sure we don't notice anything there. We're not noticing anything, so that is working perfectly. And now you'll see we just got background clone items here. And if we actually activate our player, our bird now looks like it's flying. And if we activate the spawner, that they are spawning with it. Now that happening there is because our background here, we want to make that to a minus number. So here like -5. Then we'll apply to all. We turn them both back on, our spawner and our player. Hit play. They're not going to be flickering because that was like those enemies appearing in front of and behind the background every like frame. And you see now they're no longer flickering. Okay, so that is all working, and that is it for this one. In the next one, we're going to incorporate some scoring as well as start working on the kind of like in-game UI, so what we see with the score on the screen. Okay, and yeah, that is it for this video. If you like this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing for more tutorials from me. If you need any help with anything or want to make any requests for tutorials, you can leave a comment in the comment section down below, or in my Discord server. There'll be a link in the description and the top comment, the pinned top comment. Yeah, so that is it. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, 8-Bit Squid out.